Hello, welcome to Tuesday Recipes. Every Tuesday, I'd like to release a video of a recipe that falls in the keto eating plan. Today, I'm making ground beef keto stroganoff. I keep telling myself I've made a stroganoff before, but I made maybe about half a dozen chilies, and might as well. And I believe this is the first time I've ever used Better Than Bouillon. Not sponsored, but I noticed that it kind of don't get a good whiff of that. It smells a lot like the adobo I made a while back. Um, but yeah, it's the first time I've ever made a base. So let's go ahead and get started. And here's all what's in it. Starting off with 1.5 pounds of ground beef. It's funny, the recipe online says 2 teaspoons of olive oil, but it says to insert the 2 teaspoons of olive oil in about 2 or 3 places in the recipe. So I think it's about 6 teaspoons of olive oil altogether. 1 pound of mushrooms. It says to cut those into quarters, but these sliced ones were on sale. 1 small onion. 4 cups of cauliflower rice. 1 teaspoon of steak seasoning. Salt and pepper to taste. And a cup of mozzarella. For the sauce, it'll be a teaspoon of Better Than Bouillon paste. A 1/4 cup of water. 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. A cup of mozzarella. And a 1/4 cup of Parmesan, a cup of sour cream, and let's go ahead and get measured up and start it up. Okay, got everything all cut up and oven preheated to 375, and so it has a Better Than Bouillon sitting in the small pan here, and it says to let that simmer and let it simmer till it starts reducing to about a tablespoon. It's been simmering for a while that's been while I was cutting everything up and rechecking all the instructions. It's quite a bit lower than it was, but I think it's still got a little bit to go. So I'll just let that continue on very low heat. Anyway, and now I'll turn the get the olive oil heating up. It says let the olive oil get warm before adding the ground beef. So I'll let that warm up so that can continue to do its thing. I've never done that before. I've never reduced a sauce before, so I'm fairly confident that I'm going to burn that. Anyway, I'll let that do its thing, and while the olive oil is heating up. All right, oil is nice and toasty, so now I'll add in the ground beef. Let's get that mixed up and just cooked over medium heat. Okay, I think this one's about done. I think that Better Than Bouillon's done. Hard telling because I don't have. It says let it reduce to a tablespoon. Difficult to tell if that's a tablespoon because I can't really measure it in the pan. So I'll just set that to the side. I'm sure it's good enough, and I'll just let the hamburger to continue, ground beef continue browning. Right. Let's finish browning, so I'm going to go ahead and drain and rinse that. Okay, I drained and rinsed the meat and transfer it to a casserole dish that I made sure to spray with the non-stick spray. And now I'll add another couple more teaspoons of olive oil to the pan and start cooking the mushrooms. Okay, got the mushrooms in the pan, a couple more teaspoons of olive oil. I wonder if I should have put the mushrooms in the pan before the olive oil. Oh well, just to let those cook until they're brown and start to get juicy. It didn't say how long to do that, or at least I didn't write out how long that would take to cook, but it shouldn't take very long. Mushrooms don't usually take very long to cook. Alright. So pretty sure those are done cooking now, so I'll go ahead and drain those because that's made quite a bit of moisture. Alright, got that drained. I'll mix that into the ground beef. Yeah, I really should have cut those mushrooms up a little bit better. But now I'll add another couple teaspoons of olive oil to the pan and get the mushrooms cooking. It says to cook those until the onions are softened. And while the onions are cooking, I'll mix up the sauce. Get the cup of mozzarella. half a cup of Parmesan, a quarter cup Parmesan, a cup of sour cream, and half a cup of mayonnaise, and half a teaspoon of the steak seasoning. And I'll get that all mixed up. And then the beef base. I'll get that mixed in as well. I was looking at the ingredients for the Better Than Bouillon, and it does have cornstarch, and it does have sugar, and it does have some other things that aren't great for you on keto. But I'm going to say it's one of those things that if you're eating enough of the bouillon, Better Than Bouillon based stuff to kick you out of ketosis, you're eating that stuff wrong. So I'm going to get that cooked up, mixed up while the onions finish cooking. Okay, the onions seem to have gone soft, so we'll go ahead and add in the cauliflower rice. Salt to taste. I think I've already mentioned how much I don't like that phrase. And pepper. And the steak seasoning. And get that all mixed up. And let that cook for 3 minutes or until the cauliflower cooked through. Okay, that's been going for a while, so I'll get that transferred over to the casserole dish with everything else. Got all that mixed up, and now for the mix in the sauce. Okay, that's all mixed in now. Now just to cover it with the other cup of mozzarella. Okay, it said you can cover it with more cheese if you want to, and took a lot of self-control not to, but when the first time I make a recipe, I like to try to stick to the recipe as much as possible. So now I'm going to bake that for 375 for 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, there's the finished product. Recipe and description, blog links in the description as well. Gotta let that cool off before dishing it out. But yeah, a little more complicated recipe than I usually do on these. But it smells good. Bits of it tasted good before I put it in the oven. But yeah, that's Stroganoff Casserole. I don't know why I went blank there. But anyway, 1 minute to cool off and get it dished up.